It's okay to be ignorant until you truly see how little the karmic sediments, the samskars, the little leakages are that eventually add up to a certain level of energy drainage, right? And it's time for me to share heart to heart that that was really what originally awoken me. Nine years ago was my pride and my ignorance. And then I went pretty much meditating for the next 2 to 3 years, studying as much as I can. But still to this day, I look back on my past and I'm like, the ignorance level is so real. The leakage level is so real. So you get to the point where you're like, wow, the world is such a training ground for ignorance and for pride. It's such a training ground for this pride to be seen and slowly obliterated, but you really have to give yourself compassion and forgiveness to really get to the bottom of the piece of it. Because I look back at like just the ignorance and the sexual lust energy and how much it has drained me, right? How much my timing of when I was in the orgasmic acts wasn't aligned to the actual energy cultivation that I could have been in. And so until you get a certain level of comprehension of this timing and the amount of energy leakages, especially as men, that can come from lust, and women that can come from a lack of being centered in your heart truly for yourself and overflowing that, you don't get to experience the depths of knowledge about this energy leakage, and there is repercussions that come to that. When you leak too much energy, your life force gets drained so much, certain things come up for you, and you have to place yourself in a predicament where you really put yourself on the cross yourself and hang yourself, and place yourself in a position where you really look at your ignorance and how much you could even be talking about so much but still ignorant to the actual depth of the reality of it, right? So much that you go through, it feels like lifetimes of talking about certain things, but it's not until that one lifetime that it actually clicks to a certain degree of why, when, how, where, what, and then you get to actually cultivate what really matters. And you have to go through that trial and error to that degree to just get back to your baseline vitality of momentous cultivation. And so yeah, family, like, life is about pleasure and pain for sure, and your humility is really what helps you balance that out. Truly, your humility puts you at a position that will allow you to truly see the depths, what we call the quantum, right, of how much these leakages are impacting your reality. And it's of a nature that you get to have fun with it for sure, but with that fun will come a certain level of, you know, like when you party and you gotta like get that hangover and such. When you become very sensitive to life, you really have hangovers all the time. Life becomes like a a sort of like subtle hangover until you get to a point where, okay, I see, man, like I should have been cultivating for this season. You know, I shouldn't have, man, I leaked so much with that one. Oh man, like what was I on, you know, to that point where you can actually reflect from a standpoint of seeing, you know, your karma is like gonna catch up. Those linkages are gonna catch up. And when they do, let them hit, man. Like, be strong, be aware of your strength, but let them hit. You know what I mean? Because they need to hit so that you can see that you got so many places that your leakages and your stem scars are still taking place in your reality, no matter what information you came across, no matter what data you came across. Your karmas are playing their toll until you have the full cup of this newer data that makes the holistic science make sense on a felt level. All right, family. I just needed to reflect with y'all heart to heart that this game is something that you created for yourself to lose a lot. You created this game to lose a lot. And there's a good saying that says, I can't trust a man that has never lost anything. Because he's probably NPC, right? If he doesn't address what he's lost, then he hasn't addressed what he's grown through. He hasn't actually seen the depths of surrender for what it really is all about. And to be able to come to your senses and say, you know, I do want to inherit the earth, but I don't deserve it, you know? Until I show up right-mindedly, righteous-mindedly, with the right knowledge and the right embodiment that it takes to truly see your own eyes, your own ears, your own tongue, your own nose, your own sense of touch. Alright, family. This is Baba Rave. Heart to heart with y'all. Heart to heart. I'm gonna do these heart to hearts more often because this is what y'all need. Y'all don't need these downloads anymore. Y'all need these heart to hearts, man. Y'all need these heart to hearts more than anything else. And you know, I do love myself enough to see that it's more about what y'all need rather than what I need, you know? So, may you be blessed. May you stress less. May you occupy yourself with the bliss that comes from gathering in this divine knowledge, and let there be divine mind and divine order that creates that wisdom. Alright? Yeah, I know what it is. Divine love, divine ashe, praises and cheers. Okay, cool.